Okay, today what we're going to do is we're going to review what we've learned about interacting with the text. Can someone tell me what they remember about what that means? What does interacting with the text mean? What do you think it means?
I think it means that you're thinking and that you've already saw the story, so you're jumping in and you're saying, "No, don't do that."
Okay, so you think it means that you're not just sitting there listening to the story, but you're thinking while you're listening to the story. That's exactly right. And I'm going to read the story Interrupting Chicken to you, and I gave you all a chicken stick. Now, this is a tool, not a toy, so I want you to be really thinking about how you're going to show me that you understand when I'm reading to you. So, your job is to hold up the chicken stick when you hear little chicken interacting with the text. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so until you're ready to use the sticks, leave them laying on the table and get your ears ready to listen. Okay? All right, Interrupting Chicken. This book is called Interrupting Chicken, right, Papa? Yes. Now, please don't interrupt the story. Interrupting Chicken by David Ezra Stein. It was bedtime for Little Red Chicken. "Okay, my little chicken," said Papa. "Are you all ready to go to sleep?" "Yes, Papa, but you forgot something." "What's that?" asked Papa. "A bedtime story." "All right," said Papa. "I'll read one of your favorites. And of course, you are not going to interrupt the story tonight, are you?" "Oh, no, Papa. I'll be good." Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel were very hungry. Deep in the woods, they found a house made of candy. Nibble, 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 they began to eat the house until the old woman who lived there came out and said, "What lovely children. Why don't you come inside?" They were just about to follow her when out jumped Little Red Chicken and said, "Don't go in. She's a witch." So Hansel and Gretel didn't. The end. Okay, I saw you two raise your chicken sticks. Why did you raise your chicken stick at that point in the book? But
Because the chicken jumped out and he interrupted, and because he's heard this story before, so he knows that if she wouldn't let me go in, that she would have done something to them.
right, so he had to do what when he was listening? What did he have to do in order to interrupt? What did he have to do? What did he have to be doing when he was listening to the story so that he could interrupt? What did he have to do? Think. He had to be thinking. He had to remember what?
That something was going to happen.
Something was going to happen. Have you heard the story of Hansel and Gretel before?
Yes.
What was the woman going to do? Yeah. Have you heard that? It's kind of one of those gruesome fairy tales that we hear all the time where something creepy happens. Well, in Hansel and Gretel, that woman is not an old woman. She's a witch. And she wants to eat the kids. Well, Little Red Chicken knew that. So what did he do?
I have a question.
What's your question?
What if it was a different Hansel and Gretel?
It could have been a different Hansel and Gretel. But have you had stories that your parents pull off the shelf and you hear the story over and over and over again?
Yeah.
Do you think that's what Dad did? He just went and he pulled another story off the shelf that he probably already read to Little Red Chicken before? I think so too. I used to read the same stories to my kids too. But Little Chicken totally interrupted.
Yeah.
Was that a good thing or a
Yeah,
bad thing?
Good thing.
Why was it a good thing? Why was it a good thing? Why is it okay to interrupt when someone's reading a story?
It's okay because you're thinking of what's going to happen. And if you interrupt, and of course they might get mad, but it's a good thing you're interrupting because you want to be able to help the characters.
Okay, so in other words, he got so involved in the story that he wanted to be the superhero and save them, right?
It's kind of like the commercial when the old lady says, "Can you clean the
Oh, so see, you're thinking about other things too, aren't you?
It's
That's
all
could have been
the
something you
visit.
thought of.
It's her.
All right, you ready? Chicken. Yes, Papa? You interrupted the story. Try not to get so involved. I'm sorry, Papa, but she really was a witch. Well, you're supposed to be relaxing so you can fall asleep. Let's try another story. I'll be good. Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, here we go.
Take this basket of goodies to Grandma, said Little Red Riding Hood's mother. But don't stray from the path. The woods are full of danger. Red Riding Hood skipped along through the deep woods, and by she met a wolf who wished her good morning. And she was just about to answer him when out jumped Little Red Chicken and said, "Don't talk to strangers." So Little Red Riding Hood didn't. The end. Okay, awesome. You all raised your chicken sticks. Okay, put them down for a sec. Let's talk. What did Little Chicken have to be doing in order to do that? In order to jump up and say, "Don't talk to strangers"? What did Little Red Chicken have to be thinking?
He would have to be thinking that because he knew he would either eat her grandma or her.
So he had to know the
Different one.
story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What else? What else? You know what? Have you ever been listening to a story and you know what's going to happen and you want to come up with a new ending and make it your own?
I do.
Okay. Do you think Little Red Chicken was doing that?
Yes.
Yeah. So he not only was listening, he not only was really into the story and remembering it, he also was like, wait, I'm going to act like a superhero, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump up, and I'm going to make the story new. Okay, you ready? All right, here we go. Whoops. Chicken, yes, Papa, you did it again. You interrupted 2 stories, and you're not even sleepy. I know, Papa, I'm sorry, but he was a mean old wolf. Yes, now get back into bed. Okay, Papa, let's try one more little story, and I'll be good. Chicken Little. Chicken Little was hit on the head by an acorn. The sky is falling, she thought. She was about to run off and warn Goosey Lucy, Ducky Lucky, Henny Penny, and everyone on the farm that the sky was falling when out jumped a Little Red Chicken and said, "Don't panic, it was just an acorn." So, Little Chicken didn't. Or Chicken Little, sorry, didn't. The end. Okay, put your sticks down. Let's hold our sticks quiet on the table. Otherwise, they're going to get really noisy and distract us, okay? All right, so again, what did Little Red Chicken have to do in order to say what she said?
He would have to think about, wait, it's kind of boring just to let him go out and tell when you can make an ending for the story.
So he's pretty creative, isn't he? So he's using his brain and he's thinking of a new way to change that story. Okay, here we go. Chicken. Yes, Papa? You did it again. Oh, Papa, I couldn't let that little chicken get all upset over an acorn. Please read one more story, and I promise I'll fall asleep. But Chicken, said Papa, we are all out of stories. Oh, no, Papa, I can't go to sleep without a story. Then, said Papa, yawning, oh, why don't you tell me a story? Me? Tell a story? Said the Little Red Chicken. Okay, Papa, here we go. Bedtime for Papa by Chicken. Once there was a little red hen who put her papa to bed. She read him 100 stories, and she even gave him warm milk, but nothing worked. He stayed wide awake all... Shh. Papa? Shh. Good night, Papa. The end. Okay. All right, let me grab these from you, and let's do a little review. When we are now thinking of Little Red Chicken, we've got our little chicken sitting up in front of us. What is he going to remind us to do when we're listening or we're reading? Think. Think about what? What's going to happen in the story? What else are we going to think about?
Think about if you already read the story, then maybe you could interrupt in not a bad way, but a good way.
Okay. So how would be a good way to interrupt? Shouting out? Would your teachers like it if you just shouted out? Okay, so how could we think like Little Red Chicken? How could we interrupt?
We could raise our hands.
Could raise your hand.
We could think about it first and then quietly say it to ourselves, then do it.
Okay. Is that how you normally will tell your teachers you have something to say, is raise your hand?
Yes.
I think so too. And so I think that's the polite way. The cool thing about this whole thing is that Papa thought Little Red Chicken was being naughty, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And I think that Papa was frustrated because he was trying to put little chicken to bed. But what should Papa have been proud of?
Him interrupting and thinking.
He
about
was
the
thinking
story.
about the story, wasn't he? He was using his brain. He was remembering the story from before. He was coming up with a new ending. He was listening so close he knew exactly when to jump in and come up with his new ending. So actually, our little chicken's pretty smart, isn't he? So we're going to put this little chicken up here. And he is going to always be looking at us and reminding us that what should we always be doing when we're listening to a story? Think. What should we always be doing when we're reading a story?
Listening.
And thinking. Okay? So, isn't he kind of a neat friend to have around? Yeah.
I
All right.
have one. Can
You have one of those? Okay, great. You guys did a good job.